Yes, well, your question, where will people be when they finish the last book, implies that people would start at book 1 and finish at book 8. And actually, that's not necessarily how I see Pilgrim. I don't see Pilgrim necessarily as a course with 8 books that you follow. Some parishes I know that's what they're doing, and that's great. I don't want to stop them. But I think as one of the authors, I tend to see it more as a library of resources. So you don't necessarily start at the beginning. I think if I'm leading a Pilgrim course, what I would be doing is saying to that group of people, where would you like to begin? Shall we begin with the Lord's Prayer? Shall we begin with the Beatitudes? Where shall we begin? And then let them plot their own way through and possibly supplement it with other resources from elsewhere. So I don't see it necessarily as a very long course. But to answer your question, I think I would hope that by the time a group of people had been through all or part of the Pilgrim course, I think the things I hope they would learn more than anything else is they'd learn how to pray. I think the experience of a Pilgrim course is, well, I hope it would feel as much like going on a quiet day as it would a study day, that there's a lot of prayer in Pilgrim. So I hope they'd learn to pray. I also hope they would learn to read the scriptures prayerfully. They'd have confidence. At the heart of every Pilgrim session is a way of reading the Bible which is prayerful and reflective. And I hope that would give people confidence. And I think if they got nothing else, if they learnt to pray and they learnt to read the Bible prayerfully, I'd feel, well, that was really worth it. Now, I hope lots of other things would have been achieved along the way and that people would have a basic rooting in the Christian tradition, but not just Christian doctrine. I think that's one of the other particularly, I won't say unique, that's probably overstating the case, but one of the distinctive things about Pilgrim. Most other similar courses are almost entirely doctrine-led. So it's, let us find out together about what Christians believe. Pilgrim is, yes, about Christian doctrine, but it's also about spirituality, it's also about ethics, it's also about what does it mean to live as a Christian in the world. So Pilgrim is also rooted in the giving and the receiving of 4 texts from the Christian tradition. 3 from the Bible, the Lord's Prayer, the 10 Commandments, the Beatitudes, and 1 from the Christian tradition, one of the early creeds. And so all the teaching is rooted in those texts. And so by the end of a Pilgrim course, people will have received those texts, spent time with them, trying to integrate them into their lives, and therefore they'll have some rooting, not just in doctrine, but also in spirituality, also in ethics, and I think perhaps most important of all, actually, what does it mean to live the Christian life and inhabit the world in a distinctively Christian way?